Let me give folks a chance to tune in here. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Oh, an interesting day. Oops, don't want that. Okay. Switch over to there. And oh, what a mess. I now see why I missed a thing. Okay. That makes sense. Put this down here. Learning a few things. Oh, that's not even visible. Oh, that is. Okay, that works. Oh. How's everyone doing? How's your week been so far? We're halfway through. I'm one step closer to moving into the new home, packing, get everything sorted over here. Really excited for it. Can't wait to set up some more legit tracking for this model. It'll be fun. Dylan, I got a couple new outfits that I'm showing off. Like this one, actually. Yeah. I like this model. Originally, this was like a baby blue top, and I did some paint work on it. Can't remember what else I ended up recoloring, but there's still more to be done. I want to use it as the base for the Demon Huntress armor for Diablo 3, because I want to make that outfit for this model. And I think I've already got it like laid out in my head how I want to go about that, but we're just not there yet. Haven't had the time to mess around and view-write a whole bunch. But soon. It'll be good. I do not know why I keep drifting sideways here. What happens if I click on this? Nope, that doesn't happen. $4.19. Get to it. So yeah, alright. You might have noticed we've got new channel point icon. Little pause. Don't forget, Snoop Dogg's waiting. Actually, it's really funny. While I was getting ready for the stream here, I was going through some of my content from my blog and saw some of the edibles that I had made and old Mijun. So I'll probably be going back and reposting some of those from my art account. Oh, thank you. Oh. Stretchy dog. Yes, you finally have a thing that you can do with your paw points. And it's actually gonna probably help me in the long run. Ugh. Glad I refilled my water before all this too. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. This model does not like what happens when I put a bottle in front of my face. Wow. Okay. So, that being said, I was originally looking at using part of one of the emotes because it's actually a photo that I took of my old garden, and I used that for a specific leaf that ended up going on one of my emotes, but One of the ones that was already approved. The ones that are like anime girls, those are the ones that are up for question. I don't know why. We'll figure that out later. But because of that, I decided to do the paw points for now, just in case. Just don't want to poke the beast. We'll get that sorted eventually and figure out like what I can and can't do with the emotes. But for now, I want to get the ones I've already done out there for you folks. Beg one. Cute. What I'm trying to see here is there doesn't seem to be a way for me to do any of the stream management stuff from inside OBS, and I'm still fighting with like learning where all that actually goes. So thank you for your patience. But I figure let's see about getting this show on the road. If I can figure out where my music's playing. There we go. And then we'll turn this up. Now, I have no idea what this is going to do to the VOD because the music I'm about to turn up is part of this game. So robots, whatever's listening out there, I swear this is actually part of the game's content. I'm not adding this. It's a solid soundtrack, but it's got vocals and everything, which kind of threw me off the first time I played this because it's a game that seems to be somewhat influenced by Cowboy Bebop. I'm not entirely sure how much they really wanted to pull from it, but there's a lot of like the same ideas with bounty hunters and stuff. All right, so we'll close that. And just to make certain that you folks are able to hear me, I'm actually going to turn myself up a little bit as well. Alright, hopefully that's a little bit better. Heck yeah. Cool. And switch over to here. Now what on earth? I just sworn I've already added this. Okay. Yeah, I thought I already had it, but I don't. Okay. Boop. Move that over here. And... oh, what a strange resolution for that to have popped up at. Go figure. Okay. Works for me. So yeah, this is Rebel Galaxy. I think the last time I played this was about 6 or 7 years ago, so I don't really remember much of the mechanics. Oop. Uh-oh.
Also included were the coordinates to Rust City, an out-of-the-way space station with a questionable reputation. She practically begged you to meet her there as quickly as possible. Now, after several days of travel and a few unscheduled maintenance stops, you have at last arrived. This is a place of liars, thieves. You wonder how you let yourself get dragged to such a godforsaken backwater.
So a lot of this actually has, like, legitimate voice acting. Oh, good God, why is the audio like this? hold on. You've got to be kidding me that is the lowest this goes, is 5%. Alright. Yeah, this one kind of like flew under the radar in general. It's... what's the one that... Let's see here. I played Galaxy on Fire 2, which was a computer port of an old mobile game that feels like Wing Commander. And I think sound volume needs to go down. Are you sure? Because this music continues to be extremely loud. What I'm trying to make certain is that we're able to hear the voices, which I think are unfortunately layered under sound. So if we want to hear incoming radio chatter and whatnot, we have to have that up. But initially I found this game in a search for something that feels like Wing Commander, or that's what it was, Freelancer. Freelancer was a very short story in what was a delightfully driven and like physics simulation of a space combat simulator, but worked in 3D. Tactics with enemies worked in 3D really well. You would randomly be surprised by something that sneaks up from above you or below you, and that's something that doesn't seem to happen quite as much in this game. Everything seems to follow almost consistently 2D planes, like naval combat, but it's all right. There's a number of games that I like that are space simulations that unfortunately are limited to 2D AI, but we can't beg. All right, let's see. Message from station. Wow, I do not remember anything about this game. Hello? Now, I'm kind of at an impasse as to whether or not I should be reading this out loud because they're talking, but obviously they're not speaking common. Ah, there you are. Your aunt asked me to keep an eye out for you. I see you found her old ship. Bring it to the dock and meet me at the bar. I have something for you. Who are you? You know my aunt? Or I'll see you shortly. Let's see here. You know my aunt? Yes, indeed. We've been through a few scrapes together. Back in our younger, wilder days. I'm Orzu. Now I tend bar here, and life is much quieter. I see. Well, I guess I'll see you after I dock. See you soon. Welcome to Rebel Galaxy. First, you're going to want to get comfortable maneuvering. Okay, so we're going to figure out how to do that real quick. Then we'll be docking, and then we'll go to the bar. Okay. So, oh, weird. Rotation. Huh? Oh, Q is full stop. What about rotation? Can I pitch my ship? Can I yaw my ship? Is there anything in the controls that say anything about it? No? That's handy. Steer, throttle, weapons, targeting, system menu. Yeah, I'm thinking that if all they have there is throttle, we do not have rotation. Okay. Very pretty game. Unfortunately, still a boat simulator. Wait, what?
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
I'm so confused.
Docking.
Aw, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate the support. Alright. The Rasputin has 2 turret mounts, but only 1 turret installed at present. It's a good idea to visit the equipment bay under the weapons section and purchase a new scatter turret to install in the beta turret mount. Okay. Wait. Beta turret. Scatter turret. Buy. Install? Yes. Okay. So we now have 2. And we have broadsides. Because naval combat. To the bar. Also, I can barely read any of this. The anti-aliasing is just as bad as it looks. Meet Orzu. Ah, my! You're the spitting image of Juno. So good to see you. So, where is my aunt? She was supposed to meet me here. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't seen her in nearly a week. She was afraid she wouldn't make it back before you arrived. Why do you say that? Because she gave me something to give to you on her behalf. Why would she have done so if she was expecting to be present? I love how complex the speech is. Like, how much longer does it take to say this in common? What is it? Maybe it'll tell me how to find her. That may be. She called it a specter, although I doubt that it's a proper name. Juno mentioned that it's some sort of AI symbiote, whatever that means. Can I see it? Here you go. Oh, that thing's cool looking. As to your aunt, frankly, you're in no shape to find her. That's the Rasputin parked in the hangar, is it? I hate to say it, times have changed since that was a worthy ship. What do you mean? You got no deflector, no tractor beam, that whole plating's like paper, and to be frank, your weapon systems are practically pop guns. No offense. Any suggestions? I can get you an upgrade or 2. Juno would never forgive me if I sent you off to your inevitable doom. I can't afford to let it go for nothing, though. I've got a little something you could help me with in exchange. What kind of something? I've got a shipment of Grill whiskey coming in. My supplier, however, seems to have gotten himself into hot water and can't come near the station. I'll give you the payment, and if you can make the exchange, I'll have something for you when you return. It's a deal or sounds shady, I'm out. Well, we're a space cowboy today. It's a deal. Excellent! Here's 500 credits for the payoff, and the coordinates where you'll meet. His name is Branson Cole, and he should be waiting for you. Bring the whiskey back, we'll get you squared away, and have some information as well. I'm on it. Alright, news board. Surplus and high-quality tech gear, arms race, a famine. Cthulhu the Hutt! Yes. Oh, wait. I didn't... Oh, okay, to the bar again. Bartender.
Take a seat, friend. What's on your mind?
Wait. King Bradley? What's the news?
Pirate gangs holding up an
oh, okay, it's not.
Junk fields, especially on the outer rim. Best watch yourself if you're doing any mining.
Thanks for the info. Got any advice for someone who's new to the quadrant?
If you don't already have one, you want to get yourself a tractor system. Easy money, no risk.
All right. Hear anything about the local market?
Yeah, I heard about something.
I've heard that Salsa will pay good money for nuts and bolts. I don't know who Salsa is. Do you know of any bounties in the area?
I got a few tips on local bounties, but that information ain't exactly free.
I don't think I'm ready to fight anybody just yet. All right.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, have a good one. Could hire a mercenary, which I don't have the money for. What's in the shipyard? Currently owned is the Hammerhead. I have to move my check here for a sec. A Corvette, very fast. A favorite of mercenaries and pirates alike, the Hammerhead is from a discontinued Hexo line of Corvette-class vessels. Nimble and fast, it has limited weapon expansion options, but maneuverability gives it an edge in combat. Mastodon. Oh, I can move these. Okay, cool. Oh, I love these ships. I love the engines. I love how glowy everything is. The Mastodon is a consumer version of the popular militia frigate. It features 4 broadside mounts, 2 secondary ports, and 3 independent turrets. The Tenhausen has become a standard for military enforcement and is a consumer-class vessel valued for its remarkable combat agility and expanded broadside capabilities. This one has turrets on the bottom, I remember, my last playthrough. The Scarab is a turret-focused light frigate with 7 mounts, but a meager 3 broadside ports. A large hold and high maneuverability make this a unique offering. The Vanguard. Oh, that's such a cool-looking ship. Is commonly seen in militia service, a sturdy and reliable craft. Aft cargo expansions make it an excellent shipping vessel. Turret emplacements are concentrated to the fore, a signature of the line. The Manticore. This thing feels like a garbage truck. I hated this ship. The Manticore is a well-armored destroyer with densely clustered turrets and closely positioned broadsides. While not exceptionally nimble, its grace belies its looks, and 4 secondary ports add significant weapons options. I disagree. This thing maneuvers like a bumblebee that's drunk. I hated this ship when I had it. That's fun. I love just how much, like, this feels like such a huge ship, and then you start seeing those, it's like, oh, this game get big. Okay. Alright, we gotta... Oh wow, these even have, like, little detail cards. Soy paste. Hooray! Every kid loves soy paste! Savory, low-contaminant, zero-gravity meat. Contaminants usually within legal ranges. Even soy paste tastes good with tachyon salt. Please, don't consume tachyon salt. Real whiskey is the finest in the galaxy. Too bad they can't stomach it themselves. It's worth 2,673 per unit. I'm about to go make a trade for a shipment of Grill whiskey for 500 credits. Something's off. You have a moment to discuss your personal belief systems. No? Wait, hey, come back. Ooh, mission board. Stetson merchants want someone to clear a substantial flight group of pirate scum from around Artemis II and are offering 2,615 credits. This should be a simple mop-up operation as they have no capital ship support. Double trouble. Just off the rift, the defeated Doublejack are fleeing in panic. We've identified 2 small fighter groups that should be easy to wipe out. Stetson militia operations have offered 5,532 credits to take on this task. A single rogue. I will have to try all these later. Because I don't have equipment yet. Alright. Let's take off. Missions are marked as gold diamonds on your screen and radar. Adjust your heading to point toward your destination. As you move further away from large objects, you will accelerate to sublight speed, and warp capability will become available. Warping allows you to navigate vast distances very quickly. View your stellar map. Press Control to get a better view of potential destinations and routes. Oh, right.
Stellar map.
So, I want to point out, everything here is on an orbit because it is actually moving. This whole system is live, and I love that. Also, there's like something... Whoa. Why did it zoom out like that? That was crazy. Why is there so much scrap around me? That's those broadside turrets.
Full stop. Scanner.
Scanner.
Scanning.
I didn't know I could do this. Whoa, that is so cool. I can see the cargo on the base?
Scanning.
Weapons platforms. I didn't
Scanner.
know that was even a thing. No, 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 no. Stop, stop. Is this button?
Stellar
Jeez.
map.
Okay, so my mission is the exchange.
Engines at maximum.
Alright.
Accelerating to sublight.
Eventually I'm going to remember how to do all the controls in this, but for now it's going to be a little wonky. Absolutely beautiful visuals, though. Oh, engage warp. How fast is warp?
Stellar map.
I love space games so much. This is so cool. Just, here I am, a little spaceship, cruising.
Any last words?
Oh. Hold right mouse button to charge your broadsides. The shot projector will show where the projectiles will travel and can be adjusted with the mouse. The longer you hold, the more accurate and synchronized your shots will be. Alright. Whoa.
Orange.
Where's the...
Too hot for me.
Okay. Oh, alright.
Threat level. Yellow. Collision warning.
Okay. Oh, right, I can't even do anything with the results of these fights until, how do I fire? Oh, I see. I think I just shot the wrong pilot. Okay. Is that it?
Accelerating to sublight.
Oh, okay.
Sublight.
Where... I don't know where my objective point was anymore.
Stellar map.
Oh.
Collision warning.
Oh no, oh no. Sorry.
Accelerating to sublight.
Sorry. I don't think they're okay, but hey, there's a bunch of other ships out there. Maybe they'll get some help. Scan your pulse function to detect distant objects and resources and to be notified of bounties in scan range. Mission important icons. Okay. 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 Pulse.
Bounty detected. Incoming hail. Exiting sublight. Hailing.
Hey there. Orzu send you? You got my payment?
I guess.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Yeah.
Mission complete.
Alright.
Accelerating to sublight.
Have a good one. Oh. Yeah, don't want to hit that.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
I'm glad because I didn't know how I was going to stop. I completely forgot.
Docking.
7,421 credits received. Did they just like cut me in on whatever the profit was there? Interesting. Speak with Orzu. Excellent. Many thanks for your help. I've got two options for you. A deflector and a tractor beam. Deflectors are excellent defense and combat, and of course you'll need a tractor to bring objects into Rasputin's hold. Well, I need that tractor beam. Fine choice. I'll have my men transferred to the Rasputin right away. So about my aunt? Yes, of course, but I was hoping I might trouble you for a quick favor, given how deftly you handled the exchange. Well, tell me about it, I suppose. It's a simple matter. I have some items at a remote storage location, and given their contents, it would be best if they weren't discovered by any interested parties. I need them disposed of, at no real risk to you. Alright. I guess I can do that. Perfect. Here's the relevant information. Destroy the containers however you see fit. I'm sure it won't take but a moment. Alright, I'll be back shortly. Right? His name's Orzu. Let's see. So we just installed... Yeah, we got that tractor beam installed. Cargo extensions. Interesting. Already have one installed. Capital-sized craft utilize jump gates. Oh, that's for the getting out of the system. Subsystems. Fault tracker. Tracking objects along these faults increases mining yield. Ooh. There are all sorts of good little things that I can attach here. Okay. While I am chilling out here in the station, I'm going to be reading through a couple of menus. I'm going to run a quick ad, and I'll see you folks in just a sec. If it wants to run, there we go. Now I am curious about, like... Yeah. Alright. So I get 20% additional top speed in combat would allow me to actually corner around things a little bit better. So that's an idea. What about defense? Deflector shields. We trigger to temporarily absorb excess damage. Oh. Oh. Thank you, Sin. Appreciate it. Especially with how much I end up reading for this. I love these story-based games, though. They're really fun. Alright, so I like the idea of the deflector. I don't necessarily want that just yet. Now, I do see myself getting hit a lot more, though, so better shields would be good. Very expensive, and that makes sense. And then what about weapons? No ordnance allowed on here. Secondary weapons. Flak. Aim assisted? No. And I only get to choose, like, one type of... Oh. Interesting. See, I don't remember any of these. More water? Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh. Appreciate it. Huh? It is true. Water is good for good dogs. Ooh. Space dogs. You need all that extra hydration because the airflow, like, you got that constantly moving air inside there, so the ship doesn't have, like, stagnant air. Oh. These just do their own thing. Beyond that, like, we start getting into some of the crazy types of turrets that I do not know. I don't think I want to change anything on the ship just yet. We'll throw on deflectors since everybody's recommending I should get one. Well, everybody in the game. So, alright, have you played this one? I think you're the first person I've met besides me that has played this game. Shipyard. Is there any way for me a few years ago? I had a good time. Alright. Yeah, I want to say I got to, like, the second or third jump gate sector, like, escalation, and I saw where the game was kind of going with that, and I realized that it was turning more into carrier-based combat, but the game didn't actually support carriers. And there were other games coming out around the same time. I think Fractured Space was one of the ones that I had. I would have to look into it, but it was the same concept of combat with functional 3D instead of the pseudo 3D that this one has, and it was a MOBA, so you would actually be able to do squad tactics with other players, whereas this game being single player, I just didn't get everything I was looking for, so I dropped it. And now looking back at it, like, this was a solid game. I actually think I might play through a bit further. I don't know if I necessarily will be able to keep my attention through to the third jump gate again. Never done EVE Online. I played EVE Dust 513, and I got my quest, I think, like 2 months before EVE Valkyrie shut down, which was like about a year or so before I had a computer that could drive the quest to play Valkyrie. That was actually one of the games that made me want to play VR, though. Speaking of, like, what got me into some of the more modern gaming, that was it. That game made VR relevant to me. The concept of being able to play something like this, but putting myself into the space of being in the cockpit of that ship and actually feeling like things are a threat. So I want to look at deflectors installed. I don't know how to look at things that I don't have installed. You know what? That's a valid reason to get an index. just gonna accept all these missions for low-end stuff, and if they're along the way to where I'm going, I'll deal with them. Alright, so with that idea, have you played Ancient Dungeon? And also, I need to still go get a PC copy of Ancient Dungeon. But they're going to be doing multiplayer on that soon. And it is a very solid hack and slash roguelike. Minecraft style graphics, but Diablo style gameplay, but first person, and the throwing knife actually has real throwing knife physics. In fact, I will probably stream that later because it is a really good game. My problem is I don't have it on Steam. I have it on Meta natively. So the only way for me to effectively stream it is to broadcast it to Chrome over the Meta Airlink and then stream Chrome, which I really don't want to be doing. They haven't made a better way to do that just yet that I know of, and maybe I'll have to look into that as well. Let's see here. I was going to take a look and find out.
Take a seat, friend. What's on your mind? I got a few tips on local bounties, but that information ain't exactly free.
It is a bit of a pain. At least streaming stuff that's on the native Meta marketplace. But if you skip that, use Airlink, and go over to Steam, then it just runs Steam VR nearly the same as the Index, just with slightly adjusted controls, because obviously the Quest Touch controllers aren't the same as the Dogbone.
You got it. Here's the coordinates. I'll mark them on your chart.
That guy didn't even tell me. He just like, alright, there's a person here, go kill him. Cool, I guess.
Take care, friend.
Uh-huh. We're totally friends. We're friends, and you're not going to send somebody to go do the same thing to me later. Expert at handling bones. Well, I am a puppy. Oops. I don't like how easy it is for me to accidentally just blast things with my broadside turrets. That's really concerning.
Stellar map. Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Let's see. This person's right here. I don't know what a normal distance is. Oh, hey. Apparently OBS is having a problem.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Your turrets are an important part of combat and are capable of firing at targets your broadsides can't reach. Use 3 and 2 to switch between the stations on your vessel. This will allow you to manually control individual turret groups. When controlling a turret group, keep the mouse... Okay. Ooh. Use the mouse to aim the turret's reticle. When near a target, it will snap to the target and follow automatically to keep it in camera. That's kind of cool. And in the tactical menu in escape. Tactical menu. Oh. Okay. Oh, I've never seen this menu. When the devil comes, I'm gonna ride that train? What? Any craft, manual only, turrets only, capital only, fighters only, locked only, targeted only. Okay. And they're both just Mark 1 scatter turrets. Got it.
Threat level yellow. Scatter turret. Missiles inbound.
Oh, I don't like that.
Sublight
Also, I am
boosters depleted.
not nearly as good at using my turrets as my AI is. Oh, that's a missile. Okay. Well, good to know I'm being...
Starboard shields down.
Rubber shields down. I'm having a rough time here.
Deflectors depleted. Starboard shields down. Missiles inbound.
So can my... Okay, I was gonna say, can my main weapons actually hit those? I see you. Alright. Starting to get a better understanding. Oh wow, my ship is torn up. Is that it?
Accelerating to sublight.
Oh, yeah, no, you can
Full
stop.
Scatter. Scanning.
Militia Harrier. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Wrong button. Pulse.
Collision warning.
Keep your nose clean in this sector.
Yeah, I mean,
Accelerating to sublight.
they shot me. And I'm on a bounty hunt. Mineable resources. I don't have anything for mining just yet. Yeah, that one side of my ship is pretty toasted. I might need to go back to that station.
Exiting sublight. Collision warning. Accelerating to sublight. Full stop. Docking.
Okay. Shipyard. Repairs needed. Repair. That's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Repairs complete.
43,000 credits for a new ship. Wait, what? Alright. Reward distance risk acquired via tractor. Mission log full.
Stellar map.
Wait. I finished that fight. I thought I finished that fight. Why do I get the feeling that I missed a thing that I was supposed to do?
Engines at maximum.
seeing the retro thrusters actually like turn on the sides of the ship is really, really nice little detail. All right, we got wounded Doublejack here.
By stellar mass.
Well, that's fine.
Accelerating to sublight.
That's a tasty one.
Is it? Is it a tasty one?
Orange.
Whoa. Hello, big ship. You have big guns.
Collision warning.
Mm-hmm. That is a collision warning.
Collision
Come
warning.
on. The combat in this is so cool, but I feel like my guns are pretty worthless. Oh, that one actually hit. Good, good.
Green.
Oh. Eat. Gotta get slightly away from there.
Mission complete.
Wait, what? Did my turret take them out? Bio waste. Contraband. Oh, delightful. Pulse. Mineable resources. Well, since I'm so close to them, I may as well take a look. Wait.
Accelerating to sublight.
Wait.
Sublight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't do that. Oh, you fool. Is that
Accelerating to sublight.
frigate just like dropping mines out into nowhere just for the hell of it?
Exiting sublight. Stellar map.
Gorgeous. That is like a neutron star.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Orzu's container. Destroy.
Exiting sublight. Collision warning.
That is a much bigger ship. I don't know whose merch I'm destroying here, but they won't mind, right?
Aircraft inbound.
Um,
Engines at maximum.
okay. Where are they? Ah,
Accelerating to sublight. Collision warning.
I'm glad that my turrets do a lot of the fighter combat, because I don't know what I'm doing. Ordnance current.
Collision warning.
Ah, there you are.
Starboard shields down.
I was afraid of that.
Sublight boosters depleted. Engines at maximum.
Space country. They are a lot faster than I am. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Scatter turret. Weapon overheating.
Oh, alright.
Broadsides.
That's it.
Mission complete.
What is with... I don't want this contraband. I need to figure out...
Warning.
Don't like that.
Accelerating to sublight. Stellar map.
Militaristic station. Sure.
Exiting sublight. Sublight boosters depleted. Collision warning. Docking. Repairs complete.
Let me guess. I'm only able to sell. Yeah. How do I dump cargo on a station so that somebody else can deal with this problem? I'm just going to throw them out here. $2,000 credits. I don't know what I can and can't do, so... Is that 16,000 credits to hire that mercenary?
Take a seat, mate. How's things?
What's the news?
There was a huge mining strike a few weeks back. Wish I'd have bought in on that before the prices went up. Missed me millions, I did.
Got any advice for someone new to the quadrant?
I hear the Merchants Guild has some nice kit. High-end tractors, special cargo options. You might check it out.
Alright. Hear anything about the local market?
Yeah, I heard about something.
Helvetius will pay good money for nanofibers. Do you know of any
My
bounties in the
dog
area?
Keeps on local bounties.
Alright.
Well, that's something. All right. Here's
Cool.
the coordinates. Good day, mate.
Good day. So I need 3 times the credits that I got right now to upgrade the broadsides on here. Double the damage. Well, DPS. Slightly increased velocity. Full shield penetration. Interesting. So I might want to actually consider higher range weapons. Slower aiming sounds terrible though, so maybe not. 3,200. 3,400. Wait. Was I? $6,400. Rocket turret. Interesting. And a basic mining laser would be 9,200. If I want to go the route of playing as a mining ship, but don't think I will. Also, somebody else can deal with you. Not my problem.
Engines at maximum. Stellar map. Accelerating to
Bunch of
sunlight.
bounties out here. Just some chill background audio. I wish I had all the witty commentary to go with it. You know, little corgi, maybe a Shiba Inu, just hanging out on my ship with me, waiting on the beef and broccoli. Oh no, in this case, I'm making references towards Cowboy Bebop, I wish that there was actually a story in between traveling from point to point. That like there was more of that to go with this, in comparison to it just being, all right, go to this place, kill this thing. Yeah, you have to unlock each next part of the story with combat in this, and I get that. Like, there's a way to go about making that story happen, but Distress Beacon.
Exiting sublight. Full stop. Bounty detected. Scanner. Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum.
There is a part of me that just hearing the blues riffs, I want to harmonize along. I want to sing along. Wait, what? Did my scan go out?
Scanner. Scanning.
Oh. One religious tract. Okay. Oh, there are multiple. A bomber, a fighter, and a corvette.
Looks like they fell for it. Let's take 'em, boys.
Threat level yellow. Engines
Well.
at maximum. Missiles inbound.
Oh no.
Starboard shields down. Deflectors depleted. Starboard hull breached.
Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad.
Heavily damaged.
I noticed.
Systems critical.
Thank you.
Missiles inbound.
Uh-huh.
Sublight boosters depleted. Port hull breached.
Both sides of the ship. Oh, alright. Wow. When things go wrong, they go wrong. Okay.
Engines at maximum. Stellar map.
Okay, so that no longer shows that.
Accelerating.
So we're just gonna go out to here.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Oh, okay. We cruise.
Stellar map.
Looks like they fell for it. Let's
Okay.
take 'em, boys.
Same
Threat
enemies.
level
Got it.
yellow. Missiles inbound. Starboard shields down.
Already?
Deflectors depleted. Starboard shields down.
Getting pincered here.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted.
That's fine. The blocking mechanics in this are interesting. I need to get better at them.
Missiles inbound.
Ugh.
Deflectors depleted. Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted.
Mm-hmm. Doing better though. I can't see anything.
Missiles inbound.
Imagine how stressful that is though, like you're staring at nothing but a computer screen telling you, "Hey, there's a thing out there trying to kill you."
Sublight boosters depleted.
I gotta learn how to cut them off.
Scatter turret. Weapon overheating. Weapon overheating. Broadsides.
You're tearing me apart.
Yeah, well, you decided to shoot me down.
You can't.
Bounty received.
Cargo container, you say?
Accelerating to sublight. Scatter turret.
Mark 1 swarm turret. I just picked
Collision
up
warning.
some very valuable loot there.
Broadsides. Scatter.
So, can I... Okay, I can't just equip them like that, but that would be cool. These look delightful. Like, I'm gonna have to learn how to do turret combat a little bit better than I have been, but those could be really fun.
Stellar map.
Oh, I guess I need to go repair.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Engines at maximum. Exiting sublight. Accelerating to sublight. Docking. Repairs complete.
I am called Skiza. What are you looking at? Watch your step around me. I do not appreciate window shoppers.
Engines at maximum. Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Accelerating to sublight. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning.
Contraband has been detected aboard your vessel.
Incoming hail. Stellar map.
Contraband has been detected aboard your vessel. Prepare to have the articles seized. Keep your nose clean in this sector.
Stellar map. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Stalking.
Men så to skända, and så jundo jui. Randomo sei. Na, nej. Randomo skända juno, en sanda rei partno. When dondo so peilondor no bojan antibo. Zendo sei na mundo zutu smuglan un sandar vondo shi undo scamba ando sottento ando da ka.
Name's Garrus. I hear you're looking for someone who can fly. That the case? Good to be working with you, kid. Let's blow this joint.
Stellar map.
Ready when you are.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Nebula interference detected. Port shields down. Mission complete. Force shields down. Accelerating to sublight. Stellar map. Scanner. Stellar map. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Scanner. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Accelerating to sublight. Scanner. Stellar map. Threat level yellow. Exiting sublight.
I'm going in.
Missiles inbound. Starboard shields down. Starboard shields down. Nebula interference detected. Starboard shields down. Starboard hull breached. Starboard shields down. Collision warning. Deflectors depleted. Collision warning.
Moving to engage.
Missiles inbound. Pulse turret. Ordnance low.
One down.
Nebula interference
I could sure
detected.
use some help here.
Missiles inbound. Missile turret. Broadsides.
Scratch one.
Ordnance depleted. Collision warning. Mission complete.
I stamp.
Mission complete. Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Stellar map. Scanner. Exiting sublight. Collision warning. Stellar map. Exiting sublight. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Stalking. Repairs complete.
Hey, thank you so much. I was muted. Allergy season means I keep having to mute myself. A lot of coughing and sneezing. Okay. Appreciate that. Ooh. So basically I get 10 shots and that's it. Hey Busta! How's your day going? Oh. There is a better shield I could go with. Yeah, let's get that now. Seems like much better than what I'm working with. Full 25% increase. Okay. Now I just have to hope that I survive this next mission because repairs are going to cost more than the payout is my fear here.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Here we go. Whoa.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Moving to attack.
Missiles inbound.
Oh. Where? There's so many missiles! Holy cow.
Missiles inbound. Collision warning. Mission complete.
Very nice. Okay, I'm getting a little bit better at this.
Stellar map.
I guess, yeah. Do a
Accelerating to
whole
satellite.
scan.
Scanner. Collision warning.
Detected hostile. Alright. Mineable resources.
Accelerating to sublight.
Just warp right into him.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Oh, okay. I guess that rock could scare my computers into not using the warp. That also makes sense. Meow.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Red Devil Bomber.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Missiles inbound.
Oh, they're using swarms too.
Starboard shields down.
I might not make it through this one.
Starboard
Oh.
You can't.
Okay, that's amazing.
Ordnance low. Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Ordnance low.
Moving to engage.
Good.
Ordnance depleted. Missiles inbound. Port shields down. Porthole breached.
Okay. Turning. Burning. Turning and burning. Come on, Hunter. Also, co-pilot
Missiles inbound.
or wingman, you were the worst. E.
Collision warning.
Good.
Moving to engage.
Mm-hmm.
This is not.
This is not over. I think it is.
Collision warning. Full stop.
Bonk. Okay.
Full
No, no,
stop.
no. Full scan.
Scanner. Scanning. Scanning.
Okay. Just mineable resources out there. Really far off. Got it. Well,
The map.
I guess we'll go back to... Yeah, we'll go back to rest station.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Whew. Orb. Inmon orb. The horny orb. Crunch.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Shipyard. Repair. 500 credits.
Repairs complete.
Equipment bay. Refill ordnance. That's pretty pricey. That was like 40% of the pay of that last mission. Last 2 missions. Prototype fighter. Survey an asteroid belt. Low. Merchant rescue. Sure. I like the merchants. They seem pretty cool. I don't know about that prototype. What's up in the bar?
Take a seat, friend. I got a few. You got it. Here's
Yep.
the coordinates. You
Cool.
take care now.
I have 1 soy paste and whole. Sure, sell it. It's not going to suddenly jump up in price. I can't do anything on equipment just yet. Yeah, I just gotta continue on.
Stellar map. Engines at maximum.
Is there like no.
Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
Why? Why must you behave this way?
Accelerating to sublight.
Big old loot.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Threat level red.
Moving to engage.
Missiles inbound. Missiles inbound. Port shields down. Missiles inbound. Missiles inbound. Bounty received.
Oh yeah. Anything good? Nuts and bolts.
Threat level blue. Engines at maximum.
Bolts?
Scanner.
No?
Scanning.
Hello, Garrus. Nice ship you got there. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's that custom waypoint. Okay.
Stellar map.
Yeah, let's go over here.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
What stellar mass?
Collision warning.
There's no stellar mass here. Stop it.
Accelerating to sublight. Sublight boosters depleted. Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Bounty received.
No, this is a different game from last time.
Collision warning.
I haven't played this one in quite some time. It's been about 6 or 7 years since I've played Rebel Galaxy. I do love space games though, and so like anything that's got like good dogfighting mechanics or broadside mechanics, that kind of stuff, I absolutely love. Let's see, where is my other turret shooting? I love that my turrets are how I know where my opponents are.
Ordnance low.
Ordnance low. They're one tiny fighter. Damn, that is an impressive weapon. Okay. Anything of value?
Accelerating to sublight.
No.
Stellar map.
What is this? Connection to Rodan system. Outpost. Yeah, let's go over there. That sounds fun. Ooh. Big green cloud. Wonder what's in there.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Mm-hmm.
Stalking.
Alright. Refill ordnance. Shipyard. What kind of damage did I take? 23 credits worth of damage.
Repairs.
Much, much better than last time. Yeah, what do you got on the mission board? Okay. I like these ones where it's just go survey an asteroid belt. Like, really straightforward. Visit the bar.
Take a seat, mate. How's things?
Bounties.
Tips on. All right. Here's the coordinates.
Because apparently
Alright.
that's what I'm good at, is just fighting. Let me take a look here. Alright. We're gonna do probably one more mission, and then gonna go to a short intermission so that I can get up and stretch and walk around, have some water.
Stellar map.
Wow, well, appreciate that. I may as well stretch while I am sitting here. In one mission. Oh, okay. Where did I just set that waypoint? There we go.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Hello? What an interesting problem. Wait, what? Oh, distress signal. Yeah, let's go see what's over there. Also, it's good to know that the radius of my warp ring is about 300 meters, or septimeters? Kilometers? Whatever SM stands for in this case.
Missiles inbound.
Space meters. That's what it stands for. Missiles inbound.
Deflectors depleted.
I'm going in.
You should have been the entire time, bud. I don't know why you waited till now. They are way out there.
Sublight boosters depleted.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess...
That's a kill.
Thank you,
Boundary
Garrus.
received. Missiles inbound.
I'm going in.
Yeah. Thank you. You keep that up, bud. Alright. You received nuts and bolts.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted.
Moving to attack.
Alright. Was a good little fight.
Stellar map.
Where? This way then.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Moving to attack.
Well, I mean, that one didn't last.
You got mock banks. Whew. Here's something for your trouble.
Thank you.
Fly safe.
Full stop. Collision warning. Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
How do I talk to this person?
Full
Also,
stop.
thank you for all the reminders. Let me pause for a sec.
Stellar map.
Okay, let me go park my ship back at the trade hub. I think, what is this? An impoverished station. Okay, we'll park over here. Maybe there's somebody that needs our help over here.
Sublight. Engines at maximum. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Docking.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna take a short break here. I hope you folks have been enjoying this. We'll see about considering playing some more of it, or maybe switch up games when we come back. I'll let you folks decide. But for today, instead of No Thoughts Head Empty, you get to continue to listen to Country Butt Rock. It's Mythbusters, the space show. We're testing physics with missile weapons. All right, I will be right back. Return of Parent. Butt Rock Robot. That is an interesting Mr. Destructoid. I've never seen that emote before. I went and microwaved some leftovers from last night. I have to wait for these to cool off. Likely going to be waiting until I am done with the stream for those to cool off. That is very warm. Okay. So yeah, I was kind of looking at what our options here are. I think I might honestly just play a little bit more of this, level up our ship a bit more, and hope that if we come back to this game, I'll remember the control scheme at least a little bit quicker. Transition back over here. Alright. Refill ordnance. Cool. Actually, already got those installed. Okay, go back. Alright, new swarm turret. Higher damage. Same stats for everything else. Okay. Mark 1 pulse. Mark 2 pulse requires 27,000 credits. Yikes. That distance boost, though. Well, what other options do we have? Particle laser. Much less effective against shields. Isn't the main weapon I'm using more effective against shields? Enhanced shield damage. Yeah. I think I'm going to do a beam laser then. Effective in combat, shorter range but better shield penetration. Half the range? No. Let's see here. Aim assist, yes. Reload time, 2 seconds. Well, we'll give it a try. I don't think I ever used a beam weapon on my previous build. And yeah, we'll sell the old pulse turret. Components. Engines. Yeah, let's boost that top speed. Huh. Interesting. You can have different kinds of boosters. It was a way higher acceleration. Interesting. Can't use a warp drive yet. Or a better... Wait, what's the difference? Warp rate and faster charge time. Tractor beam is the same no matter what. All the subsystems are more than I can do anything with. I guess we'll upgrade our booster for combat purposes. And make our way out.
Stellar map.
Sorry. Pirate Lord sighted. Salsa Station. So wait.
Accelerating to supply. Stalking.
Do I have no missions right now? Did I just clear all of my missions? Okay. Yep. Oh, mission log full. Mission log. Oh, that's main mission. Gotcha. Okay. Wait. Is that a different mercenary? That is a different mercenary. Uh-huh.
Stellar
Okay.
map.
The ore must flow. I guess we'll give this one a try. Yeah. Whoa.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Is a much better booster than last time.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Of course.
Accelerating to sublight.
Discover the Sigmund Belt. Exploration contract bonus. I wonder who's paying me for that. Also, dang, this is a hell of a warp.
Stellar map.
Interesting. Oh, there's a little gas planet with rings out there.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Mm-hmm. Suppose we'll do a pulse scan here.
Accelerating to
Mineable
sublight.
resources. Merchant rescue, merchant rescue. Okay. Detected hostile.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
I knew that was going to happen.
Accelerating to sublight.
Let's go.
Make a fine prize.
Wouldn't it?
Threat level red.
Well, well, look what we have here. Juicy pickings. Don't give up too easy now. I likes my prey to squirm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look what we got here.
Next.
Missiles inbound.
A pair of corvettes after us here. Huh? Okay. Next. Cargo, religious tracts. Hmm.
Deflectors depleted. Collision warning. Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Ordnance low.
Oh geez, they have way better guns than I do. We're gonna back up. It is a much bigger ship than me.
Missiles inbound. Ordnance depleted. Deflectors depleted. Deflectors depleted.
Moving to engage.
Seriously, bud? Turn around. Other side. I don't know if we can actually punch through their shields. I'm starting to question this.
Deflectors depleted.
Having lost our ordnance, looking pretty bad.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted.
Just run right into you. A lot.
I'm going in.
But please do, bud.
Missiles inbound.
You are the worst wingman. The worst. Oh, it's a lot of broadsides.
Deflectors depleted. Port shields down.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Deflectors depleted. Port shields down.
Yeah.
Going to attack.
Mm-hmm. I'm scrubbing this mission.
Missiles inbound.
We
Missiles inbound.
might be able to take out this missile corvette, but it is way better outfitted than I am. Also, that makes me wonder if there's a way for me to get additional ammo on this
Missiles
ship.
inbound. Collision warning.
Just run right into you.
Forward shields down. Missiles inbound. Forward shields down.
Going to attack.
Missiles inbound. Collision warning. Missiles inbound.
This isn't the end of me.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted.
Moving to engage.
Deflectors depleted. Collision warning. Forward shields down.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I gotta back up. That is way more than my ship can handle. They have like 4 times the turrets I do.
Stellar map.
Mining. Militaristic. Prison. Border outpost. Affiliation Red Devil. Oh. I see. Well.
You look lost, mate.
Accelerating to
Well,
sublight.
well, look what we have here. Juicy. Hope you like the coat.
I mean, you can try and hit me, but I'm out of here, bud.
You picked the wrong fight, Cutter.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Accelerating to sublight.
It tore a hole through my ship. Oh, hey!
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning.
Wait, what? What?
Accelerating to
Huh?
sublight.
I absolutely did not like manage to scrape by there. What? My ship very much crashed into that asteroid before the warp turned off. I've been worried about it this entire time, and like
Warp
there it
inhibited
is.
by stellar mass. Accelerating to sublight. Stalking.
All right. Refill, shipyard, repair. Yes.
Repairs complete.
I only took 100. That must have been 1,000. All right. We'll take it. Actually, soy paste is currently on a high. 17,000 credits. That's pretty good. So I think what I was just fighting was the Mastodon. 172,000. Jack Cronenberg. Assault by pirate gunships.
They call me Splitter. Word is you're looking for a pilot. That true? My Betty is a Cardiff gunship, and she's a beast, don't you? Nobody knows the badlands of this sector like I do. I'll still be breathing long after you're gone, mate. See you around, then.
Good day, mate. How about a beer? There's so many minefields in the system, it's playing hell with trade. Pirates lay 'em down to slow up a convoy, and then they forget where they left 'em. What a mess.
That does sound like a mess. One sec. My water. Okay.
I got a few tips.
Yeah.
Alright.
Give me the
Here's
local bounty.
coordinates. I'll mark 'em on your chart. Alright.
Dang, those higher level turrets. I'm liking those swarm turrets, but the fact that I run out of missiles after a while. Faster AI reload speed. Well, I'll hold off on upgrading that turret just yet. Just keep using what I got.
Stellar map.
And hope I don't get vaporized again, because that last fight was really bad.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Looks like they fell for it. Let's take 'em, boys.
Oh, for what?
Yellow.
I think the only thing I fell for here was delicious loot.
Bounty
Moving to
received.
attack.
Starboard shields down. Missiles inbound.
I'm going in.
Alright. Ooh. Free ammo.
Accelerating to sublight. Collision warning.
Nothing else here?
Accelerating to sublight.
Okay.
Stellar map.
Mining, also Red Devil. My apologies. Very, very loud pops out in the lot by our place. So fun.
You picked the wrong fight, Cutter.
Did I? I seem to be doing pretty okay here. You, on the other hand.
You're tearing me apart. Got it.
Ordnance low.
Another Moisel Corvette.
Ordnance low. Missiles inbound. Ordnance depleted.
Why, you filthy podback.
What did you call me? Bio-waste. That was not worth the
Exiting sublight.
ticket I got last
Collision
time.
warning.
What else we got out here?
Accelerating to sublight.
Cargo munitions.
Accelerating to sublight.
Okay, the ore must flow. Robel rescue, merchant rescue. Oh, those are the tough ones. Wait, the ore must flow is in 2 different spots. Interesting. Beep 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 beep.
Warp inhibited by stellar
What's that?
mass.
Mining tug.
Enemy craft inbound.
Of course.
Moving to engage.
Oh, alright, that works. I gotta say, this particle laser is brutally powerful.
Damn! Ice them! This can't be happening!
You are way out there.
One down.
Aw, Mocha. Thank you. I appreciate the support, hon. Ooh, I found gold.
Warning.
Is that a
Accelerating to
founder's
sublight.
badge? Wait, what is a founder's badge? How is a found? I don't know what that does. What does that mean? Oh. Aw, well congrats. Welcome to the Founders.
I won't forget this.
Wait, what? Who's shooting me? Where's shooting me? Huh?
That's got him.
What? Where did that... Detected hostile way out there.
Stellar map. Sublight boosters depleted. Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Exiting sublight. Mission complete.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Laser Turret, for paying me $5 grand
Accelerating
for driving over here.
Stellar map.
That went well. Scientific station.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Now that is a strange looking asteroid.
Collision warning.
I would love to learn about mining in this game. I've never even bothered trying.
Accelerating. to
Some
sublight.
games do it well and some don't. I appreciate the information. Thank you so much. I'm reading that as we're driving from point to point. It's good to learn because, like, that stuff isn't even covered in the basic onboarding that I was reading through, and I went through 5 hours of documentation yesterday. This place is cool. Got a little hidden space station behind this gas giant.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Oh, sorry. I hope I didn't upset that.
Accelerating to sublight.
No. Okay, cool.
Docking.
$25 credits for bumping into that thing. Oh, so close to the next ship. That turret costs more than a whole new ship. That is crazy. Oh wow, upgrading my ship armor would do a lot too. I am tempted to get rid of this other missile turret and switch to twin particle lasers. It does tell me how many people have subbed already. That's listed as like points and all this, but I'll want to look into that when I'm not necessarily like running the stream at the moment. Launched broadside heat-seeking missiles. Cannot be explicitly locked. Interesting. I wonder if those get added? I don't know how the secondary weapons work. I just want a bigger ship though, like, it seems like that's way more of a factor than having better equipment on any given ship. I don't know, I could be very wrong on that. High risk merchant rescue. Oh wait, I know what I can do at this station.
Collision warning.
I can see if there's a better pilot to hire here. None of those. Visit bar.
Good day,
Talk
mate.
to this
How
guy.
about a beer? I got a few. All right.
Yeah, thank you for
Here's
the beer.
all right.
Appreciate that. Hire mercenary. This mercenary is already hired. Okay, well. I guess there's nobody else here besides the guy I already hired.
Stellar map.
Oh, there's a bounty right here.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Three ships.
Looks like our little ruse paid off. Take 'em down, boys.
Threat level yellow. Port shields down.
Wow, whatever
Deflectors
they're
depleted.
using is
Missiles inbound.
tearing up my shields. What? What? Hold up.
Scrubber
Jeez.
hull breached. Bounty received. Deflectors depleted.
I'm going in.
Missiles inbound. Bounty received.
Okay. Pour up my ship.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
Bio waste.
Moving to attack.
Sublight boosters depleted. Missiles inbound. Ordnance low. Missiles inbound.
No.
Bounty received. Collision warning.
Very nice.
Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight.
Well, I guess I should repair. That fight tore me up pretty bad. I'm like, I am flying the right direction, aren't I?
Inhibited by stellar mass.
I just did that on sight.
Stalking.
500 for that. Did make some good money though. Huh. Intellectual property. Tachyon salt's on an all-time low right now. Nanofibers and meteoric diamonds. Why is tachyon salt so low right now? Interesting. Okay. Kind of figuring out the commodities market.
Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum. Collision warning. Accelerating to sublight.
Silly butt rock country. My only hope is that by going here, I might find some place that's currently trading any of the things that I just picked up for more. Because this is where the actual money is in the game, is in the commodities
Warp
trading.
inhibited by stellar mass. Stalking.
Bunch of stuff that's at low value right now. Interesting. Gold just sits, huh? Munitions. It's not worth it. Not for the space there. Okay.
I am called Skiza. What are you looking at? My Rakova is specially modified. Not all pilots can use particle cannon with precision. Watch your step around me.
Okay. I just dismissed my mercenary and didn't have enough to actually hire this
Take
one.
a seat,
Brilliant.
mate. How's things? I got a few tips, alright. Here's the day, mate.
I kind of messed up there. That contract's going to be expensive to restart. Because you only have to pay it the one time initially. Ah. A fool that I am.
Stellar map.
Merchant's Guild station, you say?
Engines at maximum.
And a bounty along the way.
Accelerating to sublight.
I had a feeling I would find you here.
Hail. Threat level red. Hailing.
Oh.
Well, look what we have here. Juicy pickings. Don't give up too.
Yep. Keep going. That's another one of those command
Missiles
ships.
inbound.
Take off in a different direction here. Okay. And we are warping out because I can't actually do this fight. Bye! Aw, yeah, don't burn yourself, Busta. I nearly did that to myself with the leftover spaghetti. The lens flares in this are beautiful. I love good lighting and good attention to detail on lighting.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Threat level
This is a
blue.
cool looking station. Whoa! Guildmaster.
Welcome to the Merchant's Guild. What can I do for you? The Merchants Guild provides fully vetted contracts with reputable individuals and companies. We pay the best rates, and we have representation in every inhabited system you can name.
Neat.
We also have our own ship outfitting services with unique vessels and equipment you won't find anywhere else, and all for a modest fee. Advancing in the Guild membership also grants you access to more specialized gear if you stick with it.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by our office.
Yeah. Cool. I had no idea that this was a thing.
Stellar map.
Alright, looking at our timer here, I'm probably going to do this next mission. And we will probably shut down shortly after. Merchant Rescue. There it is.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Alcastus Junk Field. So I'll need to go back to that other station that I was just at before and trying to hire that one pilot.
Threat level red. Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Starboard shields down.
Are you kidding me?
Starboard shields down. Collision warning. Port shields down. Port hull breached. Port shields down. Sublight boosters depleted. Starboard
Is that the
hull
military?
breached. Starboard shields down.
It
Systems
is.
heavily damaged. Collision warning. Starboard shields down. Missiles inbound.
Oh, fuck.
Collision warning. Systems critical.
Oh no!
Shields down.
I just ran into them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh no! You know what? That's not a bad spot to quit. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody who came to join me for a little bit of Rebel Galaxy. That one was a lot of fun to play. And we'll have to try that one again soon. Let's see here. Switch back over to my niche and obscure music. Move all this over here. Don't need that right now. Don't need that right now. Okay. Yeah. That was a nice little interlude into space combat. I do like 3D games that balance that a little bit better, but anything that has like actual broadside mechanics that require you to use pulling up on the opposing ships and matching velocities and stuff, like that's all very interesting secondary controls that kind of always run in my head no matter what. It's just part of like the positioning oneself in melee combat, but instead we're doing it in naval. And I like doing that as a secondary processing thing. I do not perform it nearly as well in certain other games, like you've seen with Sunless Sea. It's the same thing, but for reasons unknown to me, your cannons are mounted to the front of your ship, and they don't like it. Yeah, your crew can see better if you're looking directly at your enemy, but that's not where your cannons are mounted. That's not how that works. Oh, I love this little painting here. This one was done by a close friend, not Marcy, or Cryobot Art. I need to get more fan art put up on here on this reel. It's nice to have, though. This one here is by Malihas. Okay, let me go ahead and take a look and see who's doing what. Who we want to raid today. Okay. I'm gonna keep throwing you folks at the people that have the least audience because they need the support, they need the help, and these people have supported and helped me. So we're gonna raid Tyrexana, another fun little DJ. Make certain that she's not about to finish her stream. Oh yes, this looks highly entertaining. Okay, yeah. So, what should we do for the raid message? I guess we can just keep going with the green Glowdog raid. We'll go with that. Alright, folks. For everybody that stuck around, everybody that ends up watching the VOD, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye! Thank you again.